Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, my name is Adelia Rahmasari, and I'm from the third group. In this presentation, we will talk about three types of logical fallacies: ad hominem, populum or bandwagon appeal, and red herring. These are the names of our group members. First, me, Adelia Rahmasari, Karenia Janah Dewi Prayogo, Maulidia Putri Megawati, Mikael Parlindungan Hutasoid, Sofi Nurmalasari, and Yeni Farah Sasmita. Now I'm going to explain about ad hominem. The ad hominem is a fallacy of prevalence where someone rejects or criticizes another person's view on the basis of personal characteristic, background, physical appearance, or other features irrelevant to the argument at issue. An ad hominem is more than just an insult. It's an insult used as if it were an argument or evidence in support of a conclusion. An ad hominem argument is used to counter another argument, however, is based on feelings of prejudice, often irrelevant to the argument, rather than facts, reason, and logic. An ad hominem argument is often a personal attack on someone's character or motive rather than an attempt to address the actual issue at hand. Next, ad hominem functions. Ad hominem arguments are commonly used by arguers who are not familiar with the fundamentals of constructing a logical valid argument. They usually use this fallacy tool to divert the listener's attention to the unfavorable character of the person making the argument, with the ultimate objective of deceiving the audience. These are the importance of ad hominem. First, a great persuasion tool. Second, leaves a great impression on the audience's mind. Third, to deliberately humiliate a person publicly. It can smear that person's reputation. And the last is, its convincing power somehow makes the audience biased by judging the person not based on the logic of his or her claim, but based on the criticism of the arguer. Next, these are types of ad hominem. First, abusive. Ad hominem abusive is the most common variety of ad hominem. It involves personal attacks, like assassinating the opponent's character, ignoring his or her credibility and status to the audience, in order to invalidate his or her arguments. This commonly includes name-calling, implying that the opponent is immoral, ignorant, or insane, to convince the audience that he or she is non-credible. For instance, this is why a woman shouldn't do a man's job. Second, circumstantial. It is somewhat similar to abusive, except it does not directly attack the integrity of the opponent. It simply attempts to raise suspicions about the bias of the speaker, focusing on the situation surrounding him or her. This type is typically used in law, journalism, politics, and even business contexts, where conflicts of interest are common. Third, guilt by association. This is when the accuser presents a similar claim to the opponent, who is already viewed in a bad light. Since the latter has a negative background, the former's argument is affected and becomes questionable as well, whether it is valid or not. And the last is tu quoque. Tu quoque in Latin means for you too. Is a form of ad hominem fallacy wherein an argument is considered incorrect if the accuser of the argument has previously been accused of the same case before. This is usually used to deflect the ad hominem attack back into its source, instead of refuting the truth of the accusation. For instance, a father who smokes advises his son to not even try smoking, but then son tells him, "Practice what you preach." This is hominem tu quoque. The son tries to invalidate his father's advice by pointing out the hypocrisy instead of focusing on the substance of the advice. And these are the examples of ad hominem. First, Greenpeace's strategies aren't effective because they are all dirty, lazy hippies. In this example, the author doesn't even name particular strategies Greenpeace has suggested, much less evaluate the strategies on their merits. Instead, the author attacks the characters of the individuals in the group. Second, Andrea Dworkin has written several books arguing that pornography harms women, but Dworkin is just ugly and bitter, so why should we listen to her? In this example, Dworkin's appearance and character, which the arguer has characterized so ungenerously, having nothing to do with the strength of her argument, so using them as evidence is fallacious. Alright, that is all from me. The next slide and explanation will be presented by Mikhail.
My name is Mikhail Parlindungan, and now I will explain you about Populum or Bandwagon appeal. Bandwagon is a fallacy based on the assumption that the opinion of the majority is always valid. That is, everyone believes it, so you should too. In the other word, bandwagon appeals try to get everyone on board. Writers who use this approach try to convince readers that everyone else believes something, so the readers should also. However, an argument's validity has nothing to do with its popularity. So what is the function of populum or bandwagon appeal? Easy. From the definition, we can see it clearly that the aim is to convince people to accept or reject an argument based on peer pressure. Affect other people. You must be familiar with this logical fallacy. It is frequently used in political campaigns, advertisement, business interests, social networking, medicine, and sports. Now let's look at the following examples. Everyone is going to get the new smartphone when it comes out this weekend. Why aren't you? Another example, 62% of Americans have no problem with the NSA monitoring the calls and email activities of American citizens. If the majority of citizens do not have a problem with this type of surveillance, why should it be considered a problem? You got it? Convincing with the majority opinion. Next, red herring.
My name is Jennifer Sasmita, and I would like to explain about the next logical fallacy, that is red herring. What is red herring? The red herring fallacy is used to describe something that misleads or distracts from the actual or otherwise important issue. It is an irrelevant topic introduced in an argument used by manipulators to divert attention from the audience or readers from the original. The function of red herring is, first, to confuse people. And then, in literature, red herrings are usually used to lead to false conclusions about the story, so that the readers don't guess the end of the story and ruin the suspense that was building up since the beginning of the story. And then, the red herring fallacy is frequently used in mystery, thriller and dramatic novels, political speeches, children's conversation with their parents, business announcement, government information releases, and controversial conversation. And next, the example of red herrings. In J.K. Rowling, The Prisoner of Azkaban, Harry Potter believes Sirius Black is a dangerous criminal and murderer. Slowly, Harry learns that this man killed his parents, and that he is chasing Harry to finish the job. When Harry finally comforts Black, he learns that Sirius isn't a killer at all. This red herring works because Harry's perspective is naturally limited by misinformation, and the fact that he's a child, adults don't trust him enough to tell him the truth. His relief and amazement at discovering that the supposed killer is actually his godfather is shared by the reader. The second example of red herrings is Mr. Richie Rich Sukiarto bin Tachir Melipir is the richest person in Indonesia. Mr. Richie has a debt of 24 trillion rupiahs. However, since Mr. Richie is the richest person in Indonesia and various campaigns in the media have stated this, so common people are sure to think, when investing in Mr. Richie's company, it will be safe without problem, since Mr. Richie is the richest person in Indonesia. Thank you all for taking the time to patiently listen to our group presentation. I hope you were all unable to understand anything we said. Have a good day.